please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence and the singing of our national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now would you please join me in a moment of silence to honor those who have served and are currently serving. Thank you. Remain standing as the high school choir sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, albums bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of
Good morning. I am Carson Slatton, Senior Forgan Stuco member. I would like to welcome you to Forgan's 2020 Veterans Day program. We are gathered here today not only to pay tribute to the veterans we know, but the veterans all around the world. We gather here today on November 11th for our assembly, paying tribute to all the men and women who have served and continue to serve this amazing country. Veterans Day marks the anniversary of the end of the First World War, formally ended at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, which means today will mark 102 years since the end of the First World War. So, once again, I would like to thank you all for joining us, and I would like to, on this Wednesday morning, and remember, it doesn't have to be Veterans Day, thank someone who has served our country. And now, for a Veterans Day program read by Jacob Taylor.
The Best on Earth, a Veterans Day tribute. If someone has done a military service, they earn the title Veteran and more. They earn our deepest respect and admiration that they are special, no one can ignore. They sacrifice the comforts we enjoy. The list is long of all the things they gave. Our veterans are extraordinary people. They're loyal, dedicated, true, and brave. When terror and invasion were real threats, they showed us they could handle any storm. We owe our freedoms and our very lives to our veterans who served in uniform. Our veterans should be celebrities. They're exceptional. No other group compares. We're grateful for many things they've done. They're always in our hearts and in our prayers. We owe our veterans support and friendship. Let no one ever question what they're worth. These men and women served our country, our veterans, the very best on earth. Now singing They Shall Soar Like Eagles is a high school girls choir.
be a special video made by Senior Birch Taylor recognizing all the veterans in this area. We are saddened that you are unable to be with us today, but we want to know that we are thinking of you and that you are with us in spirit. welcome to the stage one of our own students, Michael Wakefield. Michael will be speaking on behalf of his grandfather, Doyle Stapp, and his time in the Army during the Korean conflict.
As announced, my name is Michael Wakefield, and it is with great honor that I speak on behalf of my great-grandfather, Doyle Stapp. I'm here to tell you a few of the stories from his time in service. At the age of 2 years in 1930, Doyle moved to Beaver County with his parents and brother from Carnegie, Oklahoma, to a homestead south of Elmwood. He attended the South Flat District 58 Country School through 8th grade, then graduated from Booker, Texas High School in 1948. Doyle joined the Army in 1951, serving his country during the Korean conflict, and was stationed at Fort Hood, Texas. In 1952, his discharge was completed and he returned to Beaver. Doyle is a lifetime member of the American Legion and a lifelong member of Beaver County. Doyle, like many other Americans during the early 50s, was drafted in preparation for the Vietnam War. When issued his letter of draft, he left Forgan and headed to Oklahoma City. From there, him and other men took a bus to Lawton, Oklahoma. When they arrived in Lawton, it was dark and they thought they were done traveling for the day, but they were wrong. They gathered up more men who loaded the bus, and off they went towards Fort Hood, Texas. He described it as a very short night. Upon their arrival, they were issued 2 pairs of khaki pants, 2 plain white shirts, 2 socks, and 2 pairs of boots. And that was it. When they started the next day, they were assigned to a company commander that, in his words, was bucking for a captain's position and thought he was something else. My grandpa could recall one specific day that it was raining, big time, and all they had was a helmet and a poncho. His commander told them they had to stay in the rain all day. He threatened them that if any of them got sick and had to go to the hospital, they would not be happy because then he would lose his chance at retaining his officer position. He had 6 weeks of basic training and 8 weeks of advanced training. He did not recall how often it was, but he did recall his time as KP, which was known as the kitchen police. When you reported for KP duty, the cook would tell you things like, put the food in the box and serve what we've got. The truck would come up every morning, and it was part of the job to unload what there was, because that's what you would have for the day. This was one of his favorite jobs at training, because he liked to talk to the cook and serving others, especially the scrambled eggs. Great-Grandpa Doyle described his going through the infiltration course as extremely difficult. They had 2 50-caliber machine guns that would fire above you as you crawled through mud and under barbed wire. If you were to stand up, you would be killed. The first thing they taught them was to take care of their M1 rifle because it might be you or death. One day in training, they were practicing throwing grenades in the windows. He stated that he could hear the shrapnel hitting the high line above them. He's told a story about how one of his friends pulled the pin on one of the grenades when he wasn't supposed to. Letting it go, the fuse started burning down and the sergeant yelled, "Hit the dirt," and they barely got down in time. My great-grandpa told me that, by God, he never did that again. He described training as very strenuous and at times impossible. They were not allowed off base and were being prepared for the worst-case scenarios because these officers had just got back from World War II. He said that many men stated that the worst part of the experience was not getting to see their family members for extended periods of time and the awfully strong coffee at breakfast. Like many men, my great-grandfather, Doyle Stapp, was not asked to serve. He was told, and he answered that call with honor. I ask that today you think of him and all of those who sacrificed time away from their family, health, and some that paid the ultimate sacrifice of their life. It is our responsibility to make sure that these men and women do not go unnoticed. It is our time to step up and show our respect for those who fought and won. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, for sharing some of your grandpa's story. Now for a special poem from the Oregon Bulldog News class.
others while others died. And to all of them who deserve our pride. We are proud of all those veterans who kept making up for our fight and blue.
They fought for us and all our rights.
They fought through many days and nights. And though we may not know each name,
We thank all veterans just the same.
Would just like to say thank you all who participated in the Veterans Day poster contest. Now the winners for the Pre-K through kindergarten division is Miss Ella Moore. First and third grade division is Cap Taylor. 4th through 6th is Alexis Nichols. Junior high division is Jeffrey, Noemi, and Natalie. High school division: Kinley, Paige, Peyton, and Juan.
Veterans Day continues to be observed on the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour. Today, November 11th, we take time out of our school day to honor these brave men and women of our country for their patriotism, love of country, and willingness to serve, for the sacrifices they have made for our everyday freedom. We ask that you please take time out of your Wednesday, Veterans Day, and every day to say thank you to all veterans and listen to all of their great stories they have to tell. We greatly appreciate our veterans. Thank you for being a part of our celebration. Please wait in your seats until the reading of the history of TAPS has been read and the song has been played. Now for the history of TAPS is Dax McReynolds.
It's hard to feel surprised when a melody as hauntingly beautiful as TAPS picks up a legend about how it came to be written. It's too mournfully direct a piece for the mere truth to suffice. TAPS was composed in July 1862 at Harrison's Landing in Virginia, but after that, the fanciful email quoted above parts way with reality. There was no dead son, Confederate or otherwise, no lone bugler sounding out the dead boy's last composition. How the call came into being was never anything more than one influential soldier deciding his unit could use a bugle call for particular occasions and setting about to come up with one. If anyone can be said to have composed TAPS, it was Brigadier General Daniel Butterfield, commander of the 3rd Brigade, 1st Division, 5 Army Corps, Army of the Potomac during the American War between the states. Dissatisfied with the customary firing of 3 rifle volleys at the conclusion of burials during battle, and also needing a method of ceremonial imparting, meaning to end a soldier's day, he likely altered an older piece known as tattoo, a French bugle call used to signal lights out, into the call we now know as TAPS. Alternatively, he wrote the whole thing from scratch, a possibility not at all supported by his lack of musical background and ability. Whether he wrote it straight from the cuff or improvised something new by arranging an older work, Butterfield brought TAPS into being. With the help of his bugler, Oliver W. Norton of Chicago, the concept was transformed into its present form. TAPS was quickly taken up by both sides of the conflict, and within months of it being sounded by buglers in both Union and Confederate forces. Then as now, TAPS serves as a vital component in ceremonies honoring military dead. It is also understood by American servicemen as an end-of-the-day lights-out signal. When TAPS is played at a military funeral, it is customary, if in uniform, to salute, or place your hand over your heart if not.